Hello, good morning. Oh, how are you doing? Hope you had a very beautiful day. So, in today's video, if you're new to this channel, first of all, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you in the channel. You're going to be loving the content I'm going to be putting out here, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to get more content from me. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I want to tell you guys is I'm literally going to be using my salary to tell you what I spend in a week, and I'm going to be giving tips through my life and what I've tried and not tried. Mostly what I've tried, what worked, what didn't work. I'll be telling you all of that. So if you really want to know, spending and saving tips, then let's just get right into it. I'm sure you're going to love this video. Trust me, you're going to love it. I suffered and I don't want you to go through what I went through. So in our 20s, there's a lot of things we're thinking about. We're thinking about how to get this, how to not get that, how to still be in vogue, in the upcoming fashion or in the incoming fashion, how to still bring it to the table, and how to still, cut on things and still live your life fully. Sometimes we do a little bit of too much, sometimes we do a little bit of too less, and then we find out that we're at crossroads on really what we should be doing and how we should be spending. So I'm going to use my March month salary to, explain how this works. So I'm just going to give a breakdown of how my salary is. If you're expecting me to say my salary on this channel, then you should have another thing coming, but I'm just going to give you an idea of what it is, okay? So it's a little above 50 to 100. And literally, when the salary comes in, I know Chukuchidera, you have to save. Chukuchidera, you have to get the things you need around the place where I stay. You have to pay for rent. You have to pay for your feeding. You have to pay for your daily living. So how do I combine all of these things, you ask? So my first, job after I left my parents was becoming a house officer, which is practicing medicine, but not with a permanent license, with a temporary license, which means I learn along the way. And this is a very good thing because it meant as I was learning, I was still being paid, and that was really awesome. So when I started, I had to give back to the society, as in give back to my parents, which was what I did. For my first salary, I had to give my first fruits to my parents, which I will really strongly urge you to do, because these people literally carried you on their back from nursery school to primary school to secondary school, so you really have to give back to them for supporting you and not complaining about it. Maybe sometimes they did complain, sometimes they did complain, but they were very mature about it, and you need to just give back. It might not be your parents, it might just be maybe a guardian that really helped you. You need to give back to that person. And so, which is what I did. I gave my first fruits. And I think this is where many people make mistakes. It's very beautiful to give your first fruits to your parents, but it's also very risky when you're giving your first fruits and you're giving 90% of your salary to them. Because literally it happened to people. It didn't happen to me. I gave like 50%, but I heard people say they gave probably like almost all of their salary, and they just had to depend on the one they really had, and they found out that they couldn't fend for themselves, into the first week of the month, not even the middle of the month or the end of the month. So dears, be very cautious, because you know that you also have to fend for yourself and you're still building yourself up. Your 20s are your hustling years, and I feel like our parents understand this and they don't expect you to give them as much as they have poured into your life. They know it's going to come gradually, so be also gradual with them, especially for girls. I feel like this is so strong because you really want to just your heart is so full of sacrifice, and you want to give back to your parents, and they pay you maybe 50k and you just give the 50k, or they pay you 100k and you just give the 100k. Guys, girls, Please remember that you're still going to be a mother, you're still going to be a wife. Fine, you might be yoga. But literally, just to remember that you still have yourself to fend for, and you still have a lot of building up to do, and you need the income. So don't give all of it. So that's the first tip. When you start your salary, or when you have your salary, don't always find family problems to throw all your money into, especially in your 20s. Because these are your building years, and I'm not really discouraging anybody from helping their parents or helping their guardians, but it's really imperative, very important to put it out there that the help you're giving to them is supposed to come gradually, little by little, until you make it to that extent where you're giving them this huge amount of money and it's not affecting you, or it's affecting you, but it's not affecting you to the extent that you're even looking for what to feed in. Like, it's just the second week of maybe like in the month, and you're already looking, borrowing, you're already making so much financial mistakes, and that is what we're trying to avoid. So that's the first tip. Family problems are always going to be there, but you come first. Your investments, your savings are going to be so timely. Your savings and your investments into your future is what is going to make these family problems easily solvable in the future, because they will always be there. You can't say, okay, you've solved, maybe your sister needed a new phone and you gave her money for the new phone and you said, okay, you've solved the whole family problems. Because, okay, let me tell you, that was literally, another story I heard. That was literally what happened. There's a problem in this month, and you're solving a problem in this month, and there's a problem in the next month, and you're solving a problem in the next month, and you're literally trying to solve all these problems, and you're thinking that, okay, every month you keep on thinking these problems are going to reduce, so why not I just do it once and for all? My dear, there's no once and for all family problems. They're always going to be there. There's always going to be a new problem, and you always want to solve it. So what you should do is pick your struggle, especially now in the picking up and the building stage, when you're still trying to find your place in the world and find exactly what you want to do with your life, and make money from it. So that is it. The first thing is, family problems will always be concerned, but pick your struggles very, very wisely. Give your first fruits, and give it very, very wisely too. Don't give everything, but you can give at least 25% if you're feeling very sacrificial. 25% is the most you can give. If you feel okay, you still need to save, then between 15 to 20% is essential for you to give to your parents, your guardians, your loved ones as your first fruit for putting you through school. So the next thing that happened, I started to discover that I had to pay rent. The good thing is that where I stay, the rent is very little, and for a while I squatted with someone. I pegged, or I patched with someone, and then it was able to help me, still split costs as at the time. But then one thing I would want to advise is, when you get your salary, pay the most important bills first. Important bills are your rent bills. Most times in Nigeria, rent covers for water, it covers for electricity. It's not as different as in other countries where you have to pay your taxes separately, you have to pay electricity separately, you have to pay for phone bills, or you have to pay for water. In some places, though, in Nigeria, it usually is separated. But when you know that it's together like that, try and pay everything at once for the month. What I did was, because my rent is a bit cheaper compared to other places, since it's a compulsory professional thing, and then they just make it a lot cheaper for you to like stay. I try to pay at least 3 months ahead, so that I can be able to use the money that comes in and just save and not worry about it for the month. So try and pay all compulsory bills. For me, my compulsory bills here is my rent. Another compulsory bill is we pay ARD dues. ARD is Association of Resident Doctors, and it's a platform, or it's a community where doctors unite, and they try to help other doctors with our bills, and they also try to like fight for us when things are going bad. They had like this link between us and the hospital management. So we try our best to pay our bills. Most people may not. I try my best to pay my bills because eventually they will have to ask you for the bills before you do your clearance from this whole housemanship thing. I try to pay my bill and my rent, and I try to pay my ARD dues. Those two are very important to me. Another very compulsory thing I do is I fill my gas. You guys, for people that don't cook, you might not really find this very helpful. I'm still going to come into that. But if you cook, it's very, very important that you fill your gas. So when I initially started doing housemanship, I was not living in my own place. So I felt okay, I couldn't be able to pay for gas now because I was living with someone and it wasn't my gas. I didn't have my own things. I realized that in a week, I spent 1,000 naira per day on food, and that is 5 days. So that's a total of 7 days. That's a total of 7,000 naira every week. Who was I kidding? I was telling myself that okay, I don't, you know, pay for food morning, afternoon, night. I don't eat breakfast. I just have provision. So I just eat afternoon and then in the night I may or may not eat. So I was deceiving myself. But I found out that I spent a lot in the afternoon because buying food here was almost 900 to 1,200. So I knew that I had to start cooking. I knew that I had to start getting my own stuff. Most people will argue that I did not see the difference when you try to cook for yourself, but I would still strongly argue that there's a very big difference. There actually is, especially if you still have parents that you can DM and beg and ask to send food stuff for you, and they would still do that. Because some parents don't really leave you totally stranded when you're really entering into your area or your era of being independent. They still try to get things for you, like maybe gari or yam, because they buy it in bulk for the house, and then they just feel okay, you're still part of the house, so let's just send some to you, which my parents did initially. But right now, I think at some point I just had to like allow them because I had to buy my own stuff. So that is a very great sense when your parents are like they want to help you in terms of bringing provisions and in terms of buying, the food stuff. Allow them. This brings down the cost enormously. So you guys, that is another thing that you need to do. Think about your source of livelihood. Think about what you're going to be eating on, and then keep that money aside. And I would strongly advise that you try cooking by yourself, because when you compare the price of buying gas and the price of cooking by yourself, especially if you meal prep, you find out that it's easier. That is another reason, and that's another thing we're coming into meal preps. To avoid having a lifestyle where you eat too much, which you shouldn't, because we're obviously trying to save money here, and you're also going to try to reduce your BMI, try to live a healthy lifestyle. So it's all working out in the end. You should try and work out how you make your meals for the week. In the beginning, I would do this thing where I just come back and then I just start cooking, and I found that it wasted a lot of money, because when you do that spontaneous cooking, you end up not really cooking something that is really tasty. You allow it to spoil. You're not really conscious about the fact that okay, food is going here, and maybe the food spoils and you pack it and put in the freezer. My dear, before you know it, you end up cooking like throughout the week, and you end up, just cooking so much and spoiling the food and forgetting that, oh, I have to stock this in the freezer. But when you meal prep the weekend before, it really does help. So what I do is immediately my salary comes in, like I said earlier, I pay the important bills. I pay my rent and I pay my ARD dues. Sometimes I pay, ahead, like 3 months ahead, 4 months ahead, and then I keep the money for gas. I get gas. I think about what I'm going to eat. I get gas. I get foodstuffs. I get like a crate of eggs. I get rice. I get yam for like 3 months. I just think about it that way. 3 months is always in my head. I think you should too. Just always think 3 months ahead. So when I do that, what I do is I meal prep for the week. I make a lot of spaghetti, pack in the freezer. God helping us, we normally have like this very stagnant light, but sometimes it's very constant because they put on the drain at night. So the freezer kind of works. So I have a freezer. Another thing is if you can get a freezer, it's going to really help. So get a freezer, stockpile food into the freezer. So I make things like spaghetti, I make rice, I make stew, I make soups, and then I store all of those in the freezer. So every day when I come back, I just take a plate, warm it. If you don't have a microwave, that is what the gas is for. Warm the food, and then I eat. That plate is over, and I take the next plate the next day. I might not even finish the whole plate. And please, when you're meal prep in small portions, not so small, but in portions where you know that okay, you're going to use and not need to like drop back. Because when you do the thing of using dropping back, it might make the food spoil. But when it's like packed in plates, you just know that oh, this is what you're using, and then you just use it. And then if you're asking where you can get plates from, all the ice cream you've been buying, all the food you've been buying from outside, they give you plates. Please use those. Plates are not the problem, are not the issue here. So that's all for feeding and spending on the priority bills. So when you're done with all of that, the meal prep, like you should have done that during the first week of the month, gotten your food stuff so that you can meal prep like 2 weekly. I normally will meal prep 2 weekly or weekly, so it's enough for me throughout the week. Even the stews normally stay like 2 weeks, the soups 2 weeks. What stays for that week might just be the spaghetti or the macaroni I make and stockpile in the freezer, and the rice. So that's like the important things to pay for once your salary comes in. The next thing is when you're thinking about splurging, don't think splurging when you haven't settled your main bills yet. And don't think splurging when you have a goal that you're setting for your income. This is why I come to setting goals for income. If your income is coming in every month and you're not setting goals for them, especially for what you want to do with them in the future, then I think you should have everything. I think you should go back to your drawing board and start to do that now, because it is so important to have goals for your income. Monthly goals, 3 monthly goals, that's quarterly goals, 6 monthly goals, yearly goals. You should have goals for your income because your income is already tied to what you want to do with your life. For instance, you cannot be gingered to save if you don't have a goal for saving, and that is very true. When you know that oh, you're saving and maybe you're telling yourself you're saving for the rainy day, at some point you start to think the rainy day will never come. What about if I die? What about if I die today? And you forget all the goals you have. I'm going to tell you some of my goals. What inspires me to save is I think about the fact that I have a family that are going to depend on me or that are already depending on me, and I have to give back to. And I love them so dearly that I would, take the whole world and give to them. So when I think about that, the next thing I think about is the initial or the main thing I'm supposed to be doing right now, the ambitions that I have, and how the income I'm saving can make it faster. For example, I'm going to give you a very, very, very good example. There's so many exams, so many medical exams that we write, to continue with our profession. There's primaries for residency, there's PLAB for practicing in the UK, there's USMLE for practicing in the US, there's masters if you want to do public health, and the whole lot. And I know that I really want the best for my family. So I think in the direction of which path will I take that would make me have the fastest income. I don't think in the direction of oh, what is it that I really want to do. I think about the path that will make me have the fastest income, and while I'm on that path, I can now do those other things that look like they were impossible for me to do. For instance, I want to do a master's in public health. I don't know yet, but I'm just saying. If I want to do that, I know that I need the money. And I've looked up a lot of, websites, and there's some free scholarships. But those free scholarships, you still have to pay for your lodging, you still have to pay for your transport, leaving the country and all, and it's not like small money. Then, if you don't have the money at the time, you can now think, what should I do, that would help me in the path, making money faster to get back on the path. So it's different paths for different people. Some people are very privileged to come from good backgrounds where they write their masters and get very good job opportunities and they are doing all of that. Some people actually do not, and they have to find a way to get some money before they leave the country, either by still practicing in the country or still doing some work in the country. So you have to always have a goal for your income. So when I save, I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm saving towards, and I'm saving towards that. I've researched about it, and I've known this is the amount that I'm going to need to pass through this career path that's going to help me make more money. So that is what I'm saving for. Because your money should be making money for you. Your money shouldn't be money that you just keep and it's not doing anything for you. Your money should be channeled towards what is it I want to do with this money that is going to make me have more money. So that brings us to the point of investment. There's a lot of investments you can do. But right now, I'm not really so big on investment. When I am big on investment, I'm going to get back into that. But one thing I can tell you is that I'm looking towards real estate. And I think you should. I think everyone should. Real estate must not be buying one big house for 1 million. It could just be buying a land anywhere in the country after you've done a very good research, you found very good agents, and you know that when you're paying for the land, you're getting your C of O and it's very original. Please do not say I asked you to enter into real estate when you do not know anything about it. Please do your research and know what to channel your money into. There are different investments aside real estate. There's shares you can buy, there's cryptocurrency, there's NFTs. Those ones are very risky, but all investments are channeled towards making your money work for you. If you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that is literally all about what money is for, what money should be for, not just saving it in the bank. You need to know what works for you, and it might be channeling your money into a career path that you know is going to make more money for you, or channeling your money into investments that you know is going to make more money for you. Another thing I want to talk about is after you're done paying your major priority bills and you're done getting what you're going to survive on for the month, then you can channel your money into saving with the goal of what that money you're saving for is. So when you've known that, okay, you've kept your survival money for the month and you've paid for your priority bills, then you can go ahead and save a percentage. And I think you should know that that percentage should be constant, because once you deviate from making it constant, you can be like, let me just send 10k, let me just send 5k, at least I saved something. But no, it's not corresponding with the other previous months you saved that much, and you don't see a lot at the end of the year. And it might make you splurge because you might feel, oh, I still have extra cash. When you don't actually have extra cash, what you have is just money that is meant for saving towards your career path or towards your investment path. So when I talk about saving, I want you to know that you should also think about investment right up, straight up. So don't just think, oh, I'm saving, and then you just save and then you forget about the investment part, because you have to keep on making your money work for you. So I'm just going to give a very typical example of myself and go through what I spend in a week. But before I do that, I want to touch on a topic that is very important: extra income. Most people in their 20s always think about their 9 to 5 jobs, and they forget that in this current age and time, there's something called extra income. Have you noticed people always scroll through their phones? People no longer feel like doing a lot of what they used to feel like doing before. Writing has gone down the mud, and people just want things that will work for them. I know that the AI is coming, but for now, people still want, people that would work for them and that would really, really bring out the best. So that's where I'm coming, I'm coming. That's where extra income comes in. Remember I told you about a different career path, right? In saving your money. This different career path, for me in medicine, I explained it might be primaries for residency program, it might be PLAB to leave the country, it might be USMLE to leave the country. For you, it might be Coursera. Yes, I said Coursera. Coursera is a platform where you can get certificates for courses. So you just go on there and you just apply, and the courses are majorly free. So just imagine you spend your money, maybe like $4 for a course, or none at all. You spend your money on these courses, you're getting knowledge, but you're applying yourself as well. So you're getting knowledge about maybe SEO writing, you're getting knowledge probably about filmmaking, and you're getting knowledge probably about script writing. And then once you get this knowledge, you start applying yourself. You go on to apps like Upwork, Fiverr, LinkedIn, send cold emails and start applying yourself. Literally, that is your money making money for you. And then you're getting extra income. So you're getting income from your 9 to 5 that you saved, booked courses, paid for these courses, read through the courses, passed the courses, got certificates, and now you know so much about the topic, and now your money is working for you. So that is literally, how to make your money, put your money at work, and not just leave it at the bank. You get. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you about what I spend in a week. I'm going to use the week my March salary came. So my March salary came in April, first week, because they pay us in arrears. So we don't really get our money immediately. When my March salary came in, I paid for my priority bills. I paid for my rent 3 months ahead. I paid for my ARD dues 3 months ahead. Then I paid all the debts I was owing. Yeah, that happens. I paid for the debts I was owing. I paid all of that. So once I was done with paying all of that, I checked the money that was still remaining. Once I was done with paying all of that, I checked the money that was still remaining and sent 2 to 3% to my family, just to make them know, okay, your girl is still here, your girl is struggling, she has this little to give and she will give it. So I did that and I still had some left. Then I bought a crate of eggs, I bought, spaghetti, and I bought rice. So when I bought those, I kept it. So I meal prepped for the week, got granite oil, did the whole meal prepping thing, bought gas. So when I did that, I realized that, okay, I had done all of that. So the money that was remaining, I sent the percentage I was supposed to send for the month because I found out that I could do that. Because when you find out that after paying all this, your percentage did not reach, you obviously have to reduce it because you have to leave some money for like day-to-day spending. So I did that. I removed money for savings and sent it to my savings account. Another good thing about having a savings account is don't allow yourself to have a bank app and don't allow yourself to have an ATM card for that account. It does help. And then I would want to introduce you to different apps. There's Piggyvest, there's this other one, I can't remember the name again, but there are different bank apps that you can use. So there are different apps you can use, savings apps you can use. And I think I would really, really want to talk about Piggyvest because it's literally amazing in that you get, a percentage of money from them for money you're saving. So, you're saving and you're still getting money, which you don't really get to see in the banks. And that is so awesome. Piggyvest, they don't sponsor this. I hope they would someday, But yeah, it's a very good way of, saving your money. I do save my money in Piggyvest. And I know a lot of people that do. And I'm just like, if it crashes, we're all gonna crash together. But I have such strong hope in them because I don't know. I just trust them. So yeah. So that is it. Once you save, know that okay, you might not have to save the percentage or you might be able to meet your quota for the month. So after saving, or you can have a different savings account. I know someone that is not comfortable with Piggyvest as it should be, but she's not comfortable with it and then she saves in a different bank account, or she doesn't have an ATM card and she doesn't have a bank app for it. So it's a win-win. So when the money comes, she sends it directly there and there's no way of retrieving money from there. Cool, right? So yeah, once you save, that is a very good way of saving. Another very good tip that I'm going to give you before I end this video is once you're leaving the house and you have food in the house, You know that you have everything in the house, like you've already stocked the fridge, everything is there. Please, dears, don't take money out with you. I learned this, in university, because I realized that every time I take money out, I spend it and I come back with nothing. Immediately I found out I did that, I stopped taking money with me, and it did wonders for my weight, my BMI, for my health. In general, I would just say I was really grateful I tried that method. But I think I won't advise for university people, because you're still like paying for transport, you don't stay in the hospital. But I think what I would want to say is, once you take your transport money and you know you have food in the house and you've eaten for that morning because you had provisions too, what's the point of taking extra cash aside your transport money? Because you end up spending it. Trust me, there'll always be something to buy. That roasted corn that has been entering your eye, or that biscuit, or your friend is just like, let's just go and spend money. She wants to buy something, but you're there and you're like, oh, let me buy two. And then you buy maybe one oil soap meat pie, and you don't even like what you buy at the end. It happens. So I feel like this is a very strong tip we should take into consideration. For me, I live in the hospital, so I do not take cash at all for whatsoever reason. The worst is even taking your ATM card, because it's like limitless cash. And once you take it, you find yourself buying more than you can buy. It has happened to me several times. So I try to throw my ATM card far away from me. I don't even keep it in the bag I take to work. So when I go to work, I just take maybe an extra snack, because I buy biscuits and I know that I might be hypoglycemic at work. I just eat it there, like small biscuits. I just eat it there, but I make sure that, okay, I took something in the morning, but most times I don't eat in the morning. So I try to take the biscuits because it suffices. I try to remind myself that I made something tasty. So when I go back to the hostel, I'm going to eat it. Because once you start to, patronize people outside, I found out that I really don't like the people that I patronize around here. And I think it's also doing wonders for me, because it's making me not spend money on them. You understand? So that's it. I only take money when I know, okay, I really want to eat beans, because I don't like making beans for myself. I feel like the beans I make purges me, and other people's beans do not purge me. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but yeah. So if I want to buy beans, I just tell myself, okay, let's just take extra cash, like 800 naira, 1000 naira, and then we'll buy beans for that day, and then we'll leave the meal prepped food for that day and use it for the next day, saving cost. So that was what I did. I basically did the priority bills. I paid for the gas. I bought food stuff. Made sure I meal prepped. Made sure cause as you're meal prepping for the first week of your salary coming in, you know exactly what you don't have in the kitchen, and you know what you do have in the kitchen. So I did meal prep, and after that, I took those savings. I gave my family like 2 to 3% of my earnings, and then I saved, and then I kept some for day-to-day earning. And there's another last terminology I want to come to, which is splurging. Splurging should be like once in 3 months, guys, but most times we do have the urge to splurge every month. If your salary after everything is said and done, you still have enough to splurge, you should. But I think it should be a once in 3 months thing. So you can just go big, do a spa or something. It's actually what I'm planning. I'm just telling you my thoughts. But yeah, splurging is SPLURGING, and it basically means spending on yourself, treating yourself. I'm sure you already got the point from all the things I was saying. You get. So yeah, I think we've come to the end of the video. Please, this video is for people that really want to save and want to do better in their 20s, with money. And I hope the points I made were able to, give you an idea of how to spend better. So please, 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 let's try. It's not easy. I'm not even going to lie. It's not easy. Some days, some months, you're tempted to splurge. You're tempted to not save. But just know that you have a goal for your savings. You have a goal for yourself. You have something you want to do with this life that you have, that you want to. Because you know that you're saving for your 30s, your 40s, whatever you're saving for is meant to still make you have a reservoir during your 30s, your 40s. So please, Let's just always put all these things in considerations. If this video was helpful, please comment down below. Please, I would want to hear from you and know if it was helpful, because this is like the first of my 20 series and I'm really excited about having feedback from you guys. So please subscribe if you've not subscribed before, like, make comments, and turn on your notifications. And please, I have a book I wrote. It's written in December. It's my other extra income. It's a very beautiful book and you're going to enjoy it if you read it. I'm kidding you not. Simple language, very beautiful storyline about a girl that liked two sisters that suddenly started having different conflicts of interests and then they had to settle it. It has mystery. It's very beautiful. Please support me. It's in the description box. By buying a copy and you will enjoy it. You'll be glad you did. It's also on Okada books in case you don't want to read hard copies. So please do all of that. I really appreciate you for tuning in and for watching me. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video.